is ending. That's the hour when I feel blessed, smoking my pipe.
Hello and welcome to the Tainted Tavern. I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers and thank everyone who's given the last few videos a big fat thumbs up or left a comment below, as some of you have started to do now. Thank you very much for that. Now today's review is not going to be a tobacco review, as I've done a lot of lately, but worry not, there will be a lot more tobacco reviews coming up, and over the weekend I plan to shoot 2 videos for this channel. One reviewing another OTC blend, that's over-the-counter blend over here in the UK, and that is Erinmore. And the second review will be Bayou Night from Cornell and Deal. So there'll be a couple of tobacco reviews. For today, I am going to be reviewing a whiskey, or at least I am when I get back to the tavern itself and I'm in my little study, because I can't do a whiskey review in the car. You can't drink and drive, of course. Well, it spills as you go around the corners. But the whiskey I'm going to be talking about today is a single malt, though it's an inexpensive single malt. It's a single malt from a distillery that doesn't exist. In other words, it's a single malt from a distillery which is camouflaging itself as being from another distillery so it can be sold off cheaply in one of the many discount supermarkets here in the UK. Now, this is not a bad whiskey. In fact, it's a gold medal winner at the World Spirits Award, and that is Ben Bracken from Lidl's, which is an Islay single malt. Now, the way it works is there is no such distillery as Ben Bracken. It doesn't exist. It's just the name that Lidl uses to sell its whiskey. And they do several expressions in the Ben Bracken range. There's this, of course, which is the Islay version. We've also got a Highland and a Speyside. Now, the Islay version is a peated whiskey, and the way it works is it's bought in bulk from well-known distilleries, probably at the cheapest, at the younger stage of the end of the spectrum. So this is probably not much more than 3-year-old. Has to be 3-year-old, of course, to be Scotch whiskey. And the online information that you try and get when you try and find out what whiskey is actually in here, it seems that the chief suspect for supplying this whiskey is Islay, though some say it's Bowmore. I don't know what it is, but all I know is this Ben Bracken is a damn decent whiskey. It retails, I bought this bottle today in the discount supermarket Lidl, and I paid £17.95 for a 70cl bottle. That's good value whichever way you look at it. And the whiskey inside, I've drunk this many times before, and the first time I tasted this, it blew my socks off in its quality. So let's get back to the tavern, let's settle down in my office, and let's talk about whiskey.
I home to rest in the hush when day is ending. That's the hour when I feel blessed, smoking my pipe.
Okay, now, as I say, today we're going to be reviewing a Ben Bracken single malt whiskey, which retails in Lidl, and as I say, there's a bit of a mystery about where this whiskey comes from, because there is no such distillery as Ben Bracken. There's no such place as Ben Bracken, at least as far as I know, and it's just a vaguely Scottish sounding title that Lidl use for all of their single malt whiskies. Now, they do a Speyside, Highland and the Islay. Now, I'm, out of all Scotch whisky regions, Islay whiskies are my favourite. I do like the peated expressions that come out of Islay, so I suppose you could say I'm well versed in that Islay taste. Now, on the bottle, it tells us that this is a powerful and unforgettable with a plethora of aromas. Plethora. That's good, isn't it? I love the word plethora. That's almost as descriptive as clan pipe tobacco, which rather than saying that it's a mix of different tobaccos, it says this is a symphony of different tobaccos, and so this contains a plethora of aromas. That's a nice way of saying it's a bit pongy. So, powerful and unforgettable with a plethora of aromas, including sober sea air, campfires, salted bananas and baked apples, all of which appeal to the senses. The full-bodied taste of walnut cake, allspice, sea salt, chocolate and coffee also delights the palate. Now, it's produced and bottled by Clydesdale Scotch Whisky Company of Glasgow. Now, we know that they are owned by White and Mackay.
So White Mackay must source this whiskey for Lidl, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think White Mackay own any of the Islay distilleries, so that doesn't bring us any closer to identifying where this comes from. Although most people, if you talk about this, whiskey lovers make the claim that they state that this comes from the Bowmore distillery. Could be right, who knows. Carlisle is also frequently mentioned as a possible source for this whiskey, but that's basically what you're getting. You're getting an Islay whiskey, we know that much, and in Lidl's this retails for I think $17.95. So $17.95, I mean, on price alone, that makes it superb value. It's also a gold medal winner at the World Spirits Award. That's the Scotch Whisky Masters Spirits Awards, and it took a gold in 2020. So, you know, this is not a bad whiskey. Prior to doing this review, I have drunk this before though, so I'm not drinking it blind. I know I like this stuff. I checked a few of the reviews of this stuff on YouTube, and to my mind, a lot of the whiskey reviewers, not all, some speak highly of this, but I think a lot of them are afraid to speak too highly of this because they feel that their kudos will be stripped away. Because how can a cheap whiskey be equal to a far more expensive blend? And just to show this malt, rather not a blend, this is a single malt, and just to show the difference in price, I made a list today of the major single malts that come out of the Highland region with the prices. So Ardbeg Wee Beastie 5-year-old comes in for £40. An Ardbeg 10-year-old comes in at £50. That's per bottle. Bowmore 12 is £35. A Bowmore 15 is £60. A Bowmore 18 is an Islay Water in the eye, £90. A Bruichladdich Classic is £45. Port Charlotte is £55. Bannerhuben 12 is £40. Bannerhuben 18 is £125. Carlisle, which many claim is the source for the whiskey, the spirits within this bottle, a Carlisle 12 comes for £45. A Carlisle 18 at £100. Lagavulin 18 is £100. Lagavulin 8 is £60. A Lagavulin 16 is £18. A Lefroy 10 is £40. I do love Lefroy 10. And Lefroy Quarter Cask is £45. So you can see the difference in price there and how this represents such good value for the money. Yes, it is an Islay single malt, but it's going to be a young single malt, so it's going to be probably around the 3 years of age, which is the legal requirement for Scotch whisky. But the two likeliest contenders for the liquid in its bottle are Bowmore and Carlisle. And as you can see what I just read out there, the cheapest Carlisle you can get is £45 a bottle, and that's a 12-year-old, and the cheapest Bowmore at 12-year-old is £35. So let's crack this open a minute and get a taste of this. I'm going to do my usual thing. I'm going to drink it in a Glencairn. I'm going to take it perfectly neat. Now, the way I usually treat my whiskey of an evening, I usually have a glass every evening, is on the rocks over ice. But whenever I'm doing a tasting, I always take it totally neat, and then afterwards I'll add a little bit of water and see how it opens it up. So another thing about this, it's corked rather than screw cap. There's a little bit of smoke come out there. And although delicious aroma of the cork. When I first bought a bottle of this, I thought it was synthetic cork because it seems rather light, but it is no, it's a real cork. So let's pour a little in the glass. My Penderyn branded glass. Penderyn being a superb Welsh whisky. Benbrach, product of Scotland, distilled, matured, and bottled in Scotland. An Islay single malt Scotch whisky, winner of the Scotch Whisky Awards, Spirits and Business Gold in 2020. It also had a silver for the International Spirits Challenge in 2020 as well, so it's won multiple awards. Now take it to the nose. Now, as I say, I'm familiar with Islay styles, Islay expressions. I drink a lot of Lefroy. Lefroy probably be my favourite Scotch. There's a lot of Islas. I haven't tasted all the more expensive ones, but the one that I do buy semi-regularly is Lefroy. I really enjoy that stuff. And this has a similar aroma. Slightly fruity. You get that peatiness, that smokiness, charcoal. A little bit of iodine maybe. Let's take it to the palate. It's delicious. The finish now, which is it in me, has got that burn, that familiar burn which you get with all peated whiskies. And a warmth as it goes down the throat into the belly. 40% ABV, of course. It's not going to be any higher at this price point. 70 CL. It doesn't say it's chill filtered or whatever. And I don't know if it's had any colourings added, but I suspect it has. But, you know, I'm not going to be a snob about that sort of thing. Let's have another taste. There's some fruit, but the peated qualities of this is very good. It's heavy on peat. That's fantastic, you know. And for the price, when you heard the prices I read out of other Islay single malts, but to get an Islay single malt for this price is absolutely superb. Is it Beaumont or Carlisle? You can't say. But all I will say is that I have given away the name of the distillery that makes this in this video, because when I read out all of these Islay whiskies, one of these distilleries here, one of these bad boys is responsible for this. And it's superb. And if you take into account its price as opposed to, you know, something like a Lagavulin 10-year-old, a Lefroy 10-year-old, which comes in at £40. So that's more than double the price of this. Yes, Lefroy may be a bit more nuanced, maybe have a little bit more complexity to it, maybe a bit smoother. But this is not without smoothness. It's rich. And it is heavy on the peat. It's something of a peat monster, in fact. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a bit of water to this, and we're going to come out of Scotland for the water. I'm going to travel to my native Wales, and we're going to add a little bit of Brecon Carrig, which comes from it's natural mineral water from the Brecon Beacons. So let's just give it a little bit. I hate what they do with the caps these days where they're attached. I always tend to rip them off completely. We're just going to put a cap full in here, not a lot of water, but just a bit, because the addition of water to your whiskey will break it up. It will allow the flavours to travel out, travel up the chimney here of the Glencairn, get into your nose, because whiskey, even at 40%, is a very strong spirit, and a lot of the flavours can be trapped beneath that ethanol burn. So let's just allow the water a moment to do its thing. Now, a few years back, I would never purchase any of the supermarket owned branded whiskey, whether it was Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, Morrison's, all these littles. I had a snobbery against them, thinking the price, they can't be any good. And it was a friend of mine who put me onto this, Ben Brachan, and he said to me, you like Islay whiskies, you like peated whiskies, you need to try this. And I realised that my snobbery was blinding myself to the experience that I could be having with this whiskey. So, give the water a moment to do its thing. Waiting for the water to travel about the glass and do its thing. Why don't I plug my new book, A Dark History of Whiskey from Pen and Sword Books. It's available at the moment in hardcover. It's only come out in the last 2 months. There will be a paperback edition to follow, and it will also be available as an electronic version, a Kindle version. In fact, I think the electronic version, the ebook, is available at the moment. You can get this direct from the publisher. You can get it from Amazon. You can order it from your local bookshop. You can get it, in fact, anywhere books are sold. I'm very proud of this book. I say without fear of being contradicted by anyone who actually buys this book that this is a whiskey book like no other. A dark history of whiskey. Whiskey noir, if you like. So why not check it out? Help a struggling writer. Let's go back to the Bebrachan. Perhaps I should try and get Lidl's to sell my book. Now the water's done its thing. The addition of water to whiskey, as I say, opens up the whiskey, allows it to breathe, and the aromas now are coming out. I'm still getting the peat. I'm getting a treacly kind of toffee, kind of butterscotch maybe. That's fine, Ram. But for the price, you can't go wrong. I mean, for the price, why would you not have this on your shelf? Why would you not experience it? Why would you not try it? And as I say, in the Benbracken range, Lidl also stocks a Benbracken Highland and a Benbracken Speyside. I haven't tried those two because my favourite whiskey region for Scotch is the Islay region. Although I do drink Highlands, maybe not so many Highlands. I drink a lot of Speysides, but I've not tried those two, so I can't say. But if they are as reflective of their region as Benbracken is, then they're probably going to be damn fine brands. So I would highly recommend this. And for the price, I think you'd be a fool not to get it. So that's Benbracken. Cheers, Yakida.